How's it going, guys? This is Ketchup and Mustard here once again. We're going into week 3 of the ESL Pro League, so we haven't actually been able to do this for a couple of weeks because we've been pretty unavailable, but we are all right to do this now. We're good to go. So we're going to be going into EU and North America, and I think it's safe to say that with how crazy this week has been, all 3 weeks, like these brackets are getting better and better, especially when it comes to North America.
Well, it definitely helps. This will be a standard format, so we're going to go over the top 8 players for each region, and we're going to predict how the first round matches are going to go, and then stop it there. Because really, from that point on, it's sort of it depends really. Because matches past this point might not happen if it actually doesn't go this way in the league itself. But just a bit of an educated guess, having seen these guys play for so long, how we think these matches are going to go. So kicking straight off into EU, we're going to have Sacon versus Mr. Aquari. So Sacon's had a really quite an up and down season 3 so far. He was very dominant in week 1, but week 2 went out straight away 3-0 first round to Foxy. But he is now on the opposite end of the bracket to Foxy. So if he's going to get the run back, it's going to be in grand finals.
But to be honest, I think almost immediately I can say I do think Sacon's going to have the edge here, purely because we know that Sacon has a really good track record versus Harry Nightmare, and basically, Aquari is like the European Harry Nightmare, and vice versa.
They play the exact same as each other.
They play so similar, and Sacon does have the edge. And also, I really don't think EU has a Kungjin of Aquari standard. Like, just, I mean, there's
Kungjin of Sacron's, you mean, right?
Yeah, of course, you know what I mean. So Sacron is... his Kungjin is quite unique, and
Yes.
EU, apart from with the exception of maybe someone like Trusty Patches, the broad EU doesn't really have that level of experience. So I think immediately I will say Sacron there.
I'll agree.
So I'm going to go into the next matchup. This is actually the matchup I'm easily the most excited for, which is Kraen versus Madzin. This is probably going to be, I would say, Blood God versus Ninjutsu. I don't think Madzin's going to go Grandmaster against Ninjutsu because that's not a very good matchup.
But that being said, that actually is what I think is going to dictate this more than anything else is just what character Madzin chooses to go with. Because Madzin's obviously used to fighting Scorpion, but Kraen really is kind of like the premier ninjutsu Scorpion of EU right now. I mean, Season 3 is shaping up to be like the season of Scorpion, but Kraen, whereas we've seen a lot of Hellfire up until this point, Kraen's definitely a ninjutsu player at this point. Let's not forget, last time we saw Kraen play in tournament at Viennality, he actually defeated Foxy Grandpa quite safely and quite convincingly with ninjutsu. Now, I know that's just because ninjutsu has a lot of answers for back 1-2 and Foxy didn't adapt in time, but Kraen played that really, really well.
The reality is Kraen beat Foxy in tournament, which is something that very little people on the planet can say they have done or can do at all.
Especially since his switch to Melina.
Yeah, absolutely. But to be honest, I don't know how to call this one. I think if Madzin sticks it out with Grandmaster, Kraen could definitely take it on a matchup premise alone. However, Madzin is definitely kind of Sub-Zero that can take a matchup that is normally seen to be quite tricky and still win. I mean, he's pretty much impossible to counterpick. And he proves it time and time again how tricky this guy actually is to counterpick. So he could always win as Grandmaster, but I definitely think a Blood God pick will go ahead.
I think if Madzin wastes any games and throws them away with Sub-Zero, considering Scorpion can teleport literally everything Grandmaster has on reaction.
And forward 2 as well to punish Clone.
I think if Madzin wastes any games on Sub-Zero, the set will go to Kraen. But if Madzin doesn't go to Sub-Zero at all, then Madzin might be able to pull it out, depending on how game 1 goes.
Okay, so game 3 we have, this is actually another one I'm really excited for, is Irish Mantis makes its first top 8. Now we're going to talk about this guy later on in the show. We're just going to talk about the matchup here. Now the question is, I don't really think I've seen Irish Mantis fight many Takeda players, and Storm is a very unique one. But personally, I actually think that Irish Mantis could take this set as well, purely on the basis that for the past couple of weeks we've seen Storm really struggle against pressure, really hardcore pressure, and that's exactly what Stunt Double is going to do. So when you find yourself in that situation where you're pressuring Storm and he gets hit by everything, which he has done the past couple of weeks, Irish Mantis could definitely just keep him locked down for the entire game if Storm doesn't change up how he's been defending.
If Storm hasn't done his research on Cage between week 1 and now, he is definitely going to struggle, because Irish Mantis is kind of the premier stunt double Cage, especially in EU. He definitely has a lot of consistency, a lot of success. If Storm isn't ready for Johnny Cage as a whole, then I don't think that Storm's going to be able to really do a lot about this.
I think Irish Mantis is a safe bet. Storm could always pull it back because he has pulled out loads of surprises in the past, but I think Mantis, purely just Johnny Cage versus Takeda, I'd say.
Well, also, I just don't think Storm can really afford to go out in round 1 of top 8 for 3 weeks in a row, because huge props for consistency and making it for 3 weeks in a row, but going out at 25 points when just That could have been 300 points at this point, and he's actually got like less than 100 going into 3 weeks of top 8. He really needs more points than he's currently got.
Okay, so we're going to be going into the final game of EU, Harry Nightmare versus Foxy. I will be completely honest. I think it's a very safe bet to say that I think Foxy might take this.
Now, I would say that, but
He's learned.
Foxy quite recently he lost in the Challenger Cup to Aquari. Now I know Foxy has beaten Aquari way more times than Aquari's beaten him, but lately Sonya is a character that anyone can kind of really, especially cover ops, which we know Harry Nightmare sort of specializes in. Cover op Sonya is very, very hard to count out under any circumstances. If you have just a base knowledge on when to dive kick, when what 50-50 to go for, how to keep yourself safe, like when your parries are on point, a lot of sort of what seems quite basic stuff, but it's really effective in cover ops because it's a guessing game and it always has been. And Harry Nightmare, let's not forget, was the highest placing leaderboards player for CIS in Season 2, like very convincingly, like comfortably #1. So I think if Foxy's ready he has to be ready for Sonya because he's got Aquari and Harry Nightmare potentially to fight. But we'll have to wait and see. I think if Foxy can just do what he's done all season with Lena, he'll be fine. But if Harry Nightmare gets a game or two, Foxy might struggle. I think that's kind of the way I think it might go.
I don't know. I personally think Foxy will be quite comfortable here. Like I said, when you lose to someone in the tournament, you kind of learn from that. And Foxy would have learned about losing to Sonya. I mean, he's lost to Sonya before with Scar as well, right? So this guy's going to study the matchup anyway. I do think Foxy will take this.
All right, let's move on to NA, and then we will wrap things up. So, NA was a complete
Let's scroll all the way up
this week.
Let's scroll all the way up here.
Now, this is an interesting thing. Sonic Fox has the most placement points right now, so he's the highest seed, but by far, in my opinion, he had the hardest path getting to top 8. Let's quickly hover over. Sonic Fox had to take out
Round 1,
DJT. DJT round 1. Newbie round 2. Corey the Dragon round 3. Bread, aka Big D, round 4. And then Hayate round 5. And he's got Forever King waiting for him in the top 8. Which, you know, he's beaten Forever King before. So it might be an alien error for all we know. But Sonic Fox, every single round, was an established, very tough tournament player. And he managed to make it. Even as #1 seed, he had that hard of a path, but he did really well.
And it could be an acidic alien mirror too. Let's not forget that.
Now, Sonic Fox is just really good at mirror matches. So Forever King had a decent path as well. Obviously taking out Gamer Blake for the spot in top 8.
Yep.
But I think based on history alone, I don't think Forever King is going to be able to take out Sonic Fox unless he plays Acidic Alien and Sonic Fox is just not ready for it. But at the same time, we know Sonic Fox has said many a time he's comfortable in the Alien Mirror and he's happy to play it.
I think Sonic Fox will take it because I just think he'll be better at the Alien Mirror if that's what it comes down to. Forever King used Alien all the way. Sonic Fox used Alien all the way, I believe
Forever
as well.
King did use a little bit of War God, so maybe we could
true.
see that just because, again, Sonic Fox did lose to Peanut quite recently as well, and that was War God. So maybe Forever King might think that Sonic Fox might not be ready for it, but I'm not sure. I just think it's a more comfortable bet that Sonic Fox is going to take that first round.
Okay, so game 2. This is interesting. So you got Red Raptor, a very consistent American Takeda player. Had to take out Calf and Honeybee to get into top 8 versus Young Monster. Now, those that don't know Young Monster, he's actually, if our information is right, the self-proclaimed best Jackie, like hands down best Jackie out there. Which is interesting how him and Sonic Fox are actually in the same section of the bracket. So if he actually takes out Red Raptor, I'm pretty certain that Sonic Fox is actually going to give him the Jackie Mirror.
Well, speaking of the Jackie Mirror, going by Sonic Fox's Twitter, he's actually played Young Monster twice in the ESL Pro League in the Jackie Mirror, and both times Sonic Fox has actually walked away, as far as I'm aware, quite comfortably the winner. So if he has to play him again, I have no doubt Sonic Fox is going to give him the mirror. But he has to get past Red Raptor, and that's Jackie. Not a lot of standing range.
I think Takeda will do very well versus Jackie.
That's what I mean. I guess it's a matchup thing. It's not something we see too often. But Red Raptor is very, very solid. And I've not seen Young Monster play, but he has had a lot of props thrown his way. So I'm sure it is quite earned confidence, but we're going to have to wait and see. But I think on the matchup alone, my basis is going to go to Red Raptor.
I'd agree with that, Red Raptor. But if Young Monster takes him out, very interesting to see what will happen if he fights Sonic Fox.
2 more matches to go, and then we are done. I mean, we're literally just like 5 hours away from the Pro League, 5-6 hours away from the Pro League actually kicking off. So this is quite last minute from us. So we'll try and get this done a little bit more in advance for you guys next time. But it's because it moved to Monday instead of Wednesday. We haven't.
Hey, if it was Wednesday, it would be fine.
Yeah, but WoW Cowboy Biohazard, really not much to talk about here. They're both phenomenal players, but that is a matchup Ferrator just realistically isn't gonna win.
I think Wound Cowboy is probably going to win this matchup unless Biohazard has a character already prepared for Shinnok. We spoke to him at Hype Spotting after losing the Tekken Master Shinnok. Biohazard said to us, I really think I need to just learn a character that can handle the Shinnok matchup because it's too difficult for Ferrator to deal with.
Now, I think this might be the first time we see Biohazard in Season 3 not actually play Ferrator in the top 8. I just don't think he's going to, because there's no point. That's just a really... I would argue one of possibly the worst matchups in the game that we've seen.
You're playing for $200,000. If you're not going to prepare for Shinnok as Ferrator, I mean, like, I can't see him not being ready. and having something ready to go.
I think if he sticks with Ferritor, this is going to be an easy 3-0 to Wound Cowboy, just based on tournament results alone and that matchup being horrible. But if Biohazard can pull out a different character that Wound either isn't ready for or does significantly better against Shinnok, then Biohazard might be able to win. But if we're going to go on the tried and true Ferritor Shinnok, Wound Cowboy got this.
So, final game is actually going to be another interesting one. The run back with Saltface and Scar. These guys fought last time.
I got no comment. Absolutely could
I
go
mean,
either
they
way.
fought last week and it was 3-2. Last round, I believe.
It was one of the best sets of top 8, rivaled probably only by Red Raptor and Scar. But regardless, I mean, I honestly don't have one. If I was forced to pick, I would say Scar, because Scar has a lot of momentum in the Pro League. Saltface has got less points, but Scar has had a little bit more experience. But if they play the same way they did last week, then I think this might go down to another 3-2.
However, I think Scar might have the edge, but Saltface, I mean, his ethereal was incredibly unpredictable. You know, there's always a chance that he could just pull something out and win. So I would like to see Saltface get the run back, because he is a ridiculously good player. But I think Scar's going to be more prepared for it. Now, going into the first round of top 8 as well, he knows again that he has Saltface, so he would have done more of his homework as well. So.
Right. I think that does wrap things up, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're tuning into twitch.tv NetherRealm later on tonight. But this is the only week it's going to be Monday instead of Wednesday, so it will go back to Wednesday very, very soon. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this is going to help you guys out with your predictions and how you think these rounds are going to go. So see you guys later on.